Hi class, in lesson 6.5 to finish up chapter 6, we will be talking about using percents in real-world situations. Learning targets for 6.5, we will be calculating the percent increase and decrease, calculating the discount of a base price, calculating additional discount on a sales price, calculating the gratuity on a bill, and calculating sales tax. Two key terms that you will see in lesson 6.5 are the words commission and gratuity. Let's take a look at problem 1 on page 446. Number 1 asks us to determine the value for each using your knowledge of percents. Round your answer to the nearest tenth if necessary. So I would like you to do letters A through G with your group members. I want you to remember that you need to set the problem up correctly like we did back in 6.4 when we were answering number 6, letters A through D. So make sure that you are understanding whether you need to find the part, the percent, or the whole of each problem as you work through these. If we take a look at letters A through D, here's what you should have for your answers. For letter A, I'm trying to determine the part. So if I set up my answer, 25 over 100 would be equal to x over 60. When I cross multiply, x is equal to 15. Letter B, I'm trying to find the percent. I set my problem up with my cross multiplying, x is going to be equal to 30%. For letter C, I'm also trying to find the percent. I set my problem up, cross multiply, and x is equal to 75%. Letter D, I'm trying to find the part. After I set my problem up and cross multiply, x is equal to 16. If we take a look at letters E through F, for letter E, I'm trying to find the whole. When I set my problem up and cross multiply, x is equal to 90. For letter F, I'm trying to find the part. When I set my problem up and cross multiply, x is equal to 6. And for letter G, I'm trying to find the percent. Again, after I set my problem up and cross multiply, x is equal to 30%. Let's take a look at problem 2 on page 447. How much are you going to save? It says Kala and Keisha are shopping for new basketball shoes. They notice a flyer that reads, "Take an additional 40% off the sales tag price of all merchandise." So let's take a look at Kala. Kala finds a pair of shoes that she likes in her size, but the additional sale price tag has been removed. The original price is $120, and the original sale price is 25% off. So Kala says, I think I can determine the final cost of the shoes. Since the shoes were already reduced to 25% and are being reduced again by 40%, then the shoes must be 65% off. Keisha disagrees. She says you cannot just add the discounts together. You have to read the flyer more closely. First, you must calculate the sale price after the 25% discount. Then, once you know the sale price, then you can reduce the sale price by 40%. That is the way you can determine the price after the additional 40% off. So what I would like you and your group members to do is take a look at number 1 and number 2. What would the sale price be if you used Kala's method? And what would the sale price be if you used Keisha's method? If we take a look at Kala's method for number 1, she is taking 65% of $120. So if you turn your percent into a decimal, multiply it by 120, you're going to get 78. You subtract that from the original price of $120, and you are going to get $42 for your answer. In Keisha's example for number 2, she breaks it up into two parts. First, she takes 25% of 120. She turns 25% into decimal form. 0.25 times 120, you get 30. If you subtract 30 from the original price of 120, you get $90. Then she is taking 40% of that 90. So 0.4 times 90 gives you 36. 90 minus 36 would give you $54 for your answer for Keisha's method. Let's take a look at number 3 at the top of page 448, and let's try to determine who is correct in their reasoning. Make sure that you explain how you did determine your answer. So refer back to the previous page, take a look at the work that you did, take a look at the problem situation, and try to determine who is correct. If we take a look at number 3, Keisha would be correct in her reasoning because it says that you are going to take an additional 40% off of the sale price, not the original price. And that's what Kala ended up doing to determine her answer. Let's skip over to problem 4 on page 450. It says up at the top, sales commission is an amount or percent of an item that is paid to employees or companies that sell merchandise in stores or by calling customers. The commission is meant to motivate salespeople to sell more. A commission may be paid in addition to a salary or in place of a salary. Commissions are typically paid in the business of real estate, marketing, automobile sales, and even in textbook sales. So what I would like you to do for problem 4 is answer questions 1 through 4. If we take a look at number 1 and number 2, in both questions I am trying to determine the part. I know the percent and I know the whole. So if I set my problem up and cross multiply, for number 1, x is going to be equal to $3,474 for her commission. Number 2, again, setting my problem up, cross multiplying, I'm going to make $15,000 commission if I sell a home for $250,000. If I take a look at number 3, in this question I am trying to determine the whole. I know the part and I know the percent. So when I set my problem up and I cross multiply, the total sales amount of all the cars that he sold would be $20,416.67. For number 4, I know the part, I know the whole, and I'm trying to figure out the percent. So when I set my problem up and I cross multiply, x is going to be equal to 5%. Let's finish up lesson 6.5 on page 454. Let's take a look at problem 7. Thanks for the service. In many service-oriented occupations, employees work for an hourly wage, plus a tip that is left by a customer to show appreciation for good service. A tip, also called a gratuity, for wait staff in a restaurant is generally a percent of the total amount of the bill. In the United States, the typical gratuity for good service ranges between 15% and 20%. Sometimes, if a party is more than 6 people, the restaurant will automatically add a gratuity charge to the bill. So what I would like you to do to finish up the lesson for today is answer questions 1 and 2 for problem 7. If we take a look at number 1, Darlene works at a restaurant during the dinner shift. At her restaurant, the gratuity is automatically added to the bill. The gratuity is 18% of the total bill. If Darlene is hoping to earn $125 in tips, what will the total cost of dinners need to be? So again, in this case, I need to find the whole. I know the percent and I know the part. So when I set my problem up and I cross multiply, x is going to be equal to $694.45. That's what the total cost of the dinners will need to be. If we look at number 2, it says Rajan is a dog groomer at a local pet store. He receives a 15% tip of the total from the dog owners. If he hopes to make $54 this weekend, how much money must be spent on dog baths? Show how you determined your answer. So again, this is another case where we know the percent, we know the part, we have to determine the whole. So after I set my problem up and I cross multiply, X is going to be equal to $360. That's how much money must be spent on dog baths. That's going to be it for lesson 6.5, using percents in real-world situations. Please let me know if you have any questions. Thanks.